What's up, everyone? Admin Tim here with a little bit of a news report. Before I do, I want to address the subject of the truck rant videos and why my last couple of videos, including this one, have been me standing inside my kitchen. The reason for that is because I've seen a metric fuck ton of comments on the TikTok and YouTube videos that are variations on stuff like, this man cooked, or he left no crumbs. So as a Gen Xer who's pushing 50, I don't understand what the fuck that means yet. So I thought it would be appropriate to shoot these videos in my kitchen. Actually, the real reason is it's storming out, and I've also got this glass of whiskey that I intend to enjoy, and you can't do that in a vehicle. So let's get down to it. It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad weekend for the Trump 2024 campaign. You ever heard the expression, dug their own grave, or the one about hitting rock bottom and showing signs of starting to dig? Well, the Trump campaign is doing both. First up, Donald Trump this past Thursday claimed that he was involved in a helicopter emergency landing with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown.
I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. We were in a helicopter going to a certain location together, and there was an emergency landing. This was not a pleasant landing, and Willie was, he was a little concerned.
Yeah, that Willie Brown. The one that the Reich Wing is alleging did the hippity-dippity with Kamala Harris, and that's how she slept her way to the top. You see, Trump says he knew Brown very well in an effort to paint Kamala Harris as a woman of loose moral virtues. That's funny, though, because Willie Brown says,
have you ever been in a helicopter that made an emergency landing with Donald Trump?
No.
Have you ever been in a helicopter with Donald Trump?
No.
Current California Governor Gavin Newsom says he was on a helicopter with Trump and former California Governor Jerry Brown, but it never went down. Next up in Trump's miserable weekend, we've got dipshit Donnie Jr., who was ridiculing the public affection between Tim Walz and his wife at a public rally. Walz apparently shook his wife's hand, which little Donnie took offense to and claimed that Walz should drop out. What's ironic about that is when softcore porn star Melania Trump even shows up in public with Velveeta Voldemort, he barely remembers she's his wife. And if she isn't batting his hand away, the best he gets is a handshake. Has anyone ever done a paternity test on Barron? Speaking of Barron Trump, who's now 18 and has graduated high school and is therefore old enough to serve his country, this utterly creepy and weird photograph hit the internet today of Barron straddling his mother in some weird staged photo shoot of a weird staged photo shoot. Now, personally, I'm not at all shocked or surprised by this. What do you expect from a family where Trump publicly lusted after his own daughter, called her a hot piece of ass, says she's voluptuous, says he's totally dated his daughter, and has a bunch of weird daddy-daughter photos of her sitting on his lap well past the minimum age of consent in America? Now, personally, I think a lot of the Trumps have probably fucked each other. The whole family just reeks of being a bunch of weird, inbred, nasty weirdos. But what's really weird is just the whole tacky, gaudy room that they're in. Who lives like this? I mean, this dude puts ketchup on a well-done steak, for fucking out loud. Now, speaking of photos, the Reich Wing is having a fucking meltdown about Kamala Harris's Michigan rally where a metric fuck ton of people showed up as she was getting off the plane. This rally was a massive success, and you know how the Trump campaign feels about rallies. Nobody's allowed to have big rallies except them, and nobody's allowed to lie about the size of the rally but them. So, in typical butthurt ass-mad fashion, everybody from Mango Unchained himself all the way to Reich Wing bootlickers like Dinesh D'Souza and some other fucking nobodies that nobody out there on social media cares about are trying to keep up with the left by claiming that the crowd is photoshopped, that it never happened, and that any photos or video were generated by AI. But what's really weird about all of this is that notorious grifter, liar, fraudster, and Reich Wing cockholster Ian Miles Cheong, noted for pretending to be a journalist and injecting totally fake stories into whatever narrative he can slither into, Ian Miles Cheong has apparently gotten on Twitter and said that the images are real. If even that guy is saying that the Reich is batshit crazy for making up an obviously stupid story, I feel like reality has finally jumped the shark. Oh, speaking of AI and the Trump bootlickers utterly failing to figure out how to meme, someone has apparently created AI porn of Kamala Harris. I've personally seen some of it on Facebook and on Twitter. The thing is, they've fetishized her to such an extent that some of these AI images have given her, well, in the stuff that I've seen, she's fucking hot. So the Reich Wing is so fucking stupid that they took the concept of the right can't meme and made it into a reality. These motherfuckers are so goddamn mad that they are literally attacking Kamala Harris for laughing and smiling. These dudes are utterly afraid of America's dad everyman image that Tim Walz brings to the table and a cheerful black woman, that this normalized return of a stimulus to some sort of hope and joy and happiness drives the Reich Wing insane. What kind of sick fucking mentality is it that attracts weirdos to a weird death cult that they actually hate happiness? That's why people are so attracted to Harris and the vision that she offers. So much that they'll even flock to overflow areas and parking lots, a level of draw that Trump hasn't had in years and is clearly furiously jealous of. So jealous that it makes him sick with rage. Okay, now if you stuck with me for this much, the next one is my personal favorite. Details are still emerging, but Saturday, the Trump campaign issued a public statement that their campaign emails were hacked. Now, before I go into detail, I just want to point out that this hack occurred in mid-July, and the Trump campaign lied about it, saying that it never happened. They're only admitting it now because hackers have contacted the media and have given them a lot of the emails. Not only were a bunch of the emails hacked, but the hacker seems to have acquired a total of more than 14 hours of video content spread across 23 videos. These videos are Project 2025 training videos, which, as you know, Donald Trump claims he doesn't know anything about. These videos are officially called Project 2025's Presidential Administration Academy, and they coach future appointees on things like avoiding Freedom of Information Act disclosures and ensuring that conservative policies aren't struck down by left-wing judges. Some of the videos appear to be routine onboarding videos that you'd find just about anywhere. And then there's one video from a woman named Bethany Kozma, who's a conservative activist and a former deputy chief of staff at the U.S. Agency for International Development in the Trump administration. In her videos, she downplays the seriousness of climate change and says that the movement to combat it is really part of a ploy to control people. There's a lot of other garbage in these videos, ranging from getting rid of African American studies and so-called critical race theory education, all the way to banning gender identity initiatives and forcing everyone to use either male or female pronouns in accordance with what genitals you were born with, which tracks with the GOP's initials now being changed to genital obsession perverts. But the other thing that I want to point out about all of this is that the Trump campaign was hacked, allegedly by a foreign intelligence agency. Oh, so suddenly these motherfuckers do care about hacked emails and documents and videos being released. That's funny. I remember when these fuckfaces claimed that Hillary's email server being hacked was grounds for her not to be elected. I remember when they said no foreign intelligence agencies are interfering in the elections. And I remember butter emails and lock her up. I remember when Trump publicly said on camera, Russia, if you're listening, hack Hillary's emails. Okay, that's all the time I've got for now. For Sons of Liberty, I'm Admin Tim. And for all you MAGA ass clowns out there who watch this video, get fucked and die mad about it. Hashtag not sorry, not sorry. 2 claps and a Rick.